Hi third graders. Today we're going to talk about fractions. We actually have a fractions video already up, and so that's why I called this one Fractions Part 2. So you remember that fractions are equal parts of a whole, and you've been doing a great job of that. So you've got your shape, and sometimes you're asked to label it or sometimes you're asked to shade it. So I'm going to label it and then we're going to shade it. So we've shaded in one, and there's two parts of our whole. So here's our whole, there's two pieces, and we've shaded in one of them. So today I want to look at it in a new way. So I'm going to take this same shape that we had before, except now, those are not very equal, but forgive my drawing, pretend those are equal parts. Okay. So let's see, we've actually got 12 to make up our whole, and I'm going to shade in half of them, which would actually be 2, 4, 6. So we've shaded in 6. Oh, look at this. 6 is half of 12. Same way that 1 is half of 2. So I want to show you something. 6/12 is the same as 1/2. So those fractions are actually equal, and we have a fancy name for that. These fractions are called equivalent fractions. If you look even, equal starts EQU. That's how you spell equal. And there's equivalent. So these fractions are equal or equivalent. So let's try another one. I'm going to take this same shape we had before, and this time let's split it up like that. Okay, so now I have 8 pieces, and if I shade in half of them, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is the same as half. So 4/8 is the same as 1/2. Those fractions are equal, or the fancy name for it is equivalent. So over here I wrote our 1/2. It is equal to 4/8. And it's also equal to 6/12. So I'm wondering if there's any others that are equal to half. What about if I did 10 on the bottom? That would be tenths. What would be the numerator? You remember that's the top number for our fraction that would equal half. It would be a 5, because 5 is half of 10. 6 is half of 12, 4 is half of 8, and 1 is half of 2. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Let's try another one. What if I did, how about 6 on the bottom? What would be half of 6? 3. Okay, boys and girls, I want to show you one other way to figure this out. So I just erased the board and I put 1/2 is equal to 4/8. Okay, so here's a little trick I want you to think about. 1 times 4 is 4. You guys know your multiplication facts. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draw this again. I'm going to draw this 1/2 like we did before, except actually I think what I'll do is I will rotate it. Okay, so there's our 1/2, and we're going to shade in 1/2. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how this is also 4/8. So I'm going to there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and 4 is 8, so there's 4 shaded out of 8 pieces. Okay, so I redrew the picture over here just because I wanted to come back to this So what I did on this again is I multiplied the same to the numerator as the denominator. And 1 times 4 is 4, and so I did times 4 here. So let's just do another one. So this time I'm going to do 1/3, and I'm going to write an equivalent fraction for that. Let's actually do 3 on the top. And let's figure out what this denominator is. So if I do it the same way, I'm going to do 1 times 3, because that equals 3. So whatever I multiplied on the top, I need to multiply on the bottom. So 3 times 3, and that equals 9. So 1/3 is an equivalent fraction to 3/9. Okay, we're going to try another one. This time I left the numerator blank. So we've got to figure out 1 times something equals this, 2 times something equals 10. So again, we know our multiplication facts, so 2 times 5 is 10. So over here, I'm going to do 1 times 5, and that equals 5, which we had earlier, that 1/2 is equivalent to 5/10. So this week, boys and girls, in your packet, you're going to find this piece of paper. And if you noticed right here on our example, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shaded out of 12 pieces in our whole, and they have it labeled 1/2. So your assignment this week is to use equivalent fractions, because 6/12 is the same as 1/2. Okay, boys and girls, if you have any questions about fractions, be sure to reach out and ask. We're happy to help. Send us your work, and good luck, have fun, and stay safe.